What's up, Michigan? Welcome back to the State Champs Poolside Podcast. I'm Lorne Plant, always joined by David Zulkiewski, girls swimming head coach at Bloomfield Hills High School. He's also the web developer, guy who sends in top times for Swim Cloud for the Michigan Interscholastic Swim Coaches Association. We are recording on a Saturday morning today. David plays dad on the weekend, and there are places to be and places to see, so I always appreciate the time you make for the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Coming off a great league meet last night and getting ready to get my two in the pool here in a couple hours. So
got it. Okay. The other gentleman on your screen is another who I'm sure has much more important things to do with his time, but we too appreciate the opportunity to talk high school swimming with him. He's the girls and the boys swim coach at North Farmington High School. Mike Harfoot, thanks for being here, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm glad to talk swimming anytime.
All right, fantastic. Okay, on the show today, we're mainly going to be talking about the results of the recent OAA league meet, something both of these men are fresh off experiencing. That is ahead. But first, I want to let you know that Poolside is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Hey, Lawrence Tech wants you to recruit yourself. Just go to ltuathletics.com, click on the Recruit Yourself link. Academic and athletic scholarships are available in over 24 varsity sports. Poolside also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics, and by the physical therapy and sports medicine pros with the Detroit Medical Center. Our Game Changers segments are back. Check our YouTube playlist by searching State Champs TV or just go to our website, statechampsnetwork.com. It's great insight on training tips and more. And if you need immediate care, I urge you, just go to dmc.org/game changers for immediate access to that care. Now, before we get into the OAA results, Coach Harfoot, just so people can get to know you a little bit, talk about a few things like your introduction to competitive swimming, whether that was a kid or high school or adult, maybe your background in the sport and how you got into coaching.
Sure. Yeah, I swam high school at Walled Lake Western, so I was in the state of Michigan my whole swimming career. Okay. Went up to Central Michigan University, actually running track as a freshman. And then I had an injury to my knee, had to stop doing that, and wanted to stay in athletics. And Central Michigan did not have a varsity swim program at the time, unfortunately, but they did have a swim club. And I joined the swim club and swam up there for my final 4 years at Central Michigan. And then during my student teaching at West Bloomfield High School, was able to coach with Bob Crosby, one of the lifetime coaches in the state. He's a great coach. Got me into the sport and introduced me to the coach over at North Farmington High School during my student teaching. And I've been coaching there ever since, the last 25 years.
Wow. It's quite a legacy. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So we can get into the crux of what we're here to do, and that is to talk about the OAA results. And Dave, why don't you just go ahead and take it away, talk about each division, and certainly Coach Harfoot, chime in anytime you want on some of the results, since this basically just took place the last couple of days.
Yeah, we just finished up last night. Some great performances. Bloomfield was really excited to host the Red. And I told the fans and everybody last night right before we announced the scores just how awesome it was to just feel that energy in the building last night. I know we keep saying it, and I can't wait for the day we don't have to say what has changed since COVID. But to have a packed pool last night, girls screaming are different than boys screaming, right? And just the energy in that building. We got a big pool, but we're a little tight on the pool deck. It was awesome to feel that last night. I was getting goosebumps throughout the races just watching it. So that was a great one for us last night. Top to bottom, we've seen it all year. Seaholm dominated. They were 4-0 in dual meets, and they ran away with it by a little over 100 points. Carl Hodgson was named Coach of the Year. They won all 3 relays, broke 3 relay records. Sam Clifford, their 200 freestyler, broke our pool record on her way to an all-league honor. So they were dominant top to bottom. 2-3 kids swimming top 8 in every event. It was impressive. Even their B and C relays, even though you can't take B and C relays to state meet, their B and C relays were qualifying for state meet. So hats off to Carl and Dan Yoon for doing a wonderful job. But
why do you think that is? Well, I was just going to say, why do you think that is? This is a surge for Seaholm. Certainly have seen it on the male side of things for years, but for the girls to really be obviously step it up in some of the most competitive swimming in the state.
Yeah, I mean, both Birmingham schools. I mean, Groves and Seaholm. I'd say one, it's a testament to Carl and his longevity. I mean, he's been there. He was there long before I ever got there. He's established just a real strong program. He has expectations and guidelines for his kids, and they buy into it. We were talking last night. A lot of us are seeing a little bit of a dip in participation right now. Carl's numbers are going up, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's been there so long. The kids know what they're going to get out of it. They know that there's success there. I think a lot has to be said about the fact that they have 3 middle school pools, and their middle school programs are 50, 60 kids deep. And just the year-round swimming there. There's 3 club teams that are swimming out of Birmingham pools. And even just like your summer club teams, your little backyard neighborhood teams like the NSSL, they're loaded up. And Carl's coaching out of a Birmingham summer club pool. So there are times where he might see a kid from the time they're 8 years old all the way till they're 18. So they've got everything loaded and locked up there, and that's wonderful for them. It's admirable, and sometimes a little envious and jealous too. So, but the rest of the Red though, Groves did awesome. They had some amazing races. Madison Hemlick, double winner last night in the 50 and the 100 backstroke. 50 freestyle was awesome. She was the second seed behind my girl Brooke Thompson. And those two, 50 free, just splash and dash, and it was awesome watching them swim. And she about a half an arm length ahead of Brooke to win. But that young lady did an awesome job as a senior. And they had some real impressive diving. 2 of their divers earned all league honors last night, which was great. Adams, a little bit down, smallest team in the league this year for us, but real down at performance in the 500, 200 IM, 200 free. They look really good. I don't know, they're second on the state rankings right now behind Seaholm. It'll be interesting. They have lost a couple kids to club swimming, but they looked really, really good. And Kyle Kenyon out of Farmington, right crosstown rival here with Mike. Some real impressive talent up top. Again, a smaller team, but did a wonderful, wonderful job. And I can't go without bragging a little bit about my girls. We broke 2 school records, picked up 3 additional state cuts, and it'll be our biggest state team here in about 4 years that we've had this many kids going. So the Red Division, we had outstanding meet, a lot of fast swims. I know everybody's geared up for state meet. D2 state meet's going to be stacked, with 4 of those teams coming out of our league, and it was just awesome to host this weekend. And Mike, why don't you take a look at and talk to us a little bit about the White Division and all the great swims you had tonight or last night?
Sure. The White Division's been a lot of fun all season. Really competitive teams. All 6 teams are really evenly matched. We had dual meets that were tight every week all season. So it was a lot of fun, good competition. Royal Oak won it last night. It was a tight meet. They pulled it out over Lake Orion. They're kind of back and forth with Lake Orion all night. I think they won by 17 points total. But then Troy and Stony Creek were right behind them. They tied for 3rd overall for the entire meet. And then Berkeley right behind them. Just a really tight meet. Really no dominating team. I mean, Tracy won it with her depth. Lake Orion's got a couple studs that scored really high during the meet, but they just ran short on a little bit of depth where Royal Oak scored more places than all the other teams did. But I think every team had at least one individual event win. No team had more than Lake Orion had 4 individual event wins, but then everybody else was 2 or 1. It was just a close competitive meet all the way throughout. I was looking this morning at our practice. We had, and we were, really competitive with a lot of the red times, which is rare. Usually there's a gap there between the red and the white division. But a lot of the top swimmers would have scored well at the red meet. And echoing what you said earlier, Dave, the atmosphere of the meet was just awesome to have, parents in the stands. Last year, I was actually not able to go to my league meet because my family had COVID. So I was quarantined for our league meet. So I was watching it at home on a live stream. So just for me to be at the meet was a really, really cool. And really just the feeling you get is so much different. I mean, sitting in my living room watching it on my TV was great, but it was, I was bummed just watching it there. So being at the meet was a lot of fun. And I kind of told that to the girls, that just being there and watching them swim and compete was awesome. Our team, we got last place at the meet, but I had 46 out of 48 season best swims. And we were competitive all the way throughout. So, even though we were last place, we were right there in the meet. We had a lot of competitive races, got a couple state cuts. It was just fun to watch the whole meet go. Each team had a couple studs, and just watching the coaches, congratulate other swimmers from other teams. Just the coaching community we have in the OAA is fun. You're not just cheering for your kids, you're cheering for everybody else. So it was really neat to be at a meet that was packed in the stands, and just the electricity on deck was awesome. It was fun to feel that again.
Yeah, we saw it this morning too. Our girls were getting in, dragging a little bit, getting into practice, but we were looking at your results, and I think it's the fly. My swimmer finished 4th in the red, and I think she would have finished like 3rd or 4th in the white division, because you guys, there's some seriously fast swimming down there. I think that bodes well for us. Coming out of COVID and that type of stuff, kids are training hard. We're starting to see a little more talent across, the whole league, 8, 9, 10 teams. So that's fun. It was great watching you guys the whole year, your whole league, just every meet, and I think you guys are getting stuff up on Swim Cloud all the time, and people are comparing results, and that's a fun meet when everybody has a chance to be in it. I'm sure Troy and Stoney fighting it out at the end there. They tied. So that was good too. But yeah, absolutely. A lot of great swimming. Tracy deserves a lot of credit. She's, really built up a good program there. Young coach that's been putting in a few good years, and she's seeing some great results.
Yeah. 2 years ago, we squeaked by here as blue division champions. She was 2nd. And then last year she won the blue convincingly. And then this year taking the white. Their program's really on the rise, and they're doing a really nice job.
Well, one thing that COVID has, I think, reminded us is just the love of sport, the love of being able to participate. And, maybe that makes it a little bit easier. They're going to, the great thing about a sport like swimming, very similar to running, is you're not only obviously competing for your team, you want to win, you want to do all you can for that, but, you have your PRs, your personal bests, and things of that nature that you can always go for. And that's what continues to drive you and want to get better. And ultimately, if you continue to do that on a consistent basis, your team will get better, because, results will show. All right, how about a quick summation of the OAA Blue, David?
Yeah, so, Blue, Mike, I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at the results. Rochester wins by 2. And a lot of times you think that's going to be, coming down to the last relay. Clarkson won the 2 free relay, so they pick up a few points there. Rochester closely behind in 2nd. The backstroke was kind of a wash. They both had, a couple swimmers here or there, but then Rochester dominates with a 1-2-3 finish in the 100 breaststroke. So that, I think at that point, probably put them far enough ahead, because they dominated the 4 free relay. Clarkson got like 4th or 5th. So that breaststroke probably still behind. What's up?
They're probably still behind going into that 4 free relay, because I saw Rochester got 1st and Clarkson, I think, got 4th. So I think Rochester was behind going into that 4 free relay.
All right. So that would have been one of those where maybe they weren't neck and neck to win that meet, but your coaches are probably behind the blocks at that point saying, safe starts, we've got to win, and Clarkson's got to be probably 5th, 4th, 5th, whatever it is, to win that meet. So that would have been fun. That would have been some great energy there. Numbers are down. There's some teams that couldn't even field relays down there, but you got coaches working tremendously hard to build that atmosphere back up. And again, a young coach up at Rochester, Aaron's doing a really nice job, 2-3 years into the making now, and you're starting to see some real good swims out of his kids. So, they had some really nice performances down there, and we'll sit down here Monday, start doing realignment already for next year. We're not even done with this season, but it'll be fun to see how things shuffle out here with all the great swims this year.
And in your notes, Clarkson had 4 of the top divers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Jen Blitz is doing a really nice job up there. She's you've seen her in a couple different teams, but she's settled down up there. Her kids are all excited to be in Clarkson schools, and I think she's found a great place to develop a really good dive program. And yeah, divers look terrific. The year in and year out, I think they always have a couple good ones. But yeah, this year 4 of them. So.
All right. Well, something that we're going to get into, we were talking a little bit before the broadcast that, there's a couple topics that are kind of hot button issues right now, and probably have been for a long time. Number one is officiating and the lack of it, and kind of where we're at in the sport right now. We're gonna do a future podcast here this season. We'll talk about that, and we'll definitely bring it up in the boys season as well. And maybe Mike will have you back for that. We can talk a little bit more about the officiating issue, and obviously with the MHSA being a partner with us, they can participate in this forum as well. The other is, of course, you're talking about low numbers, but also, the fact that some of the state's best swimmers, and it happens in a lot of sports, choose to swim club during the fall, and they don't participate in high school. Whereas, other sports, quite frankly, I'll use another fall sport reference, volleyball. Is a sport where quite often the clubs really do like, and the colleges, the universities really do like their, prospects or girls to participate in the high school experience, because it really does bring them, more emotionally closer to the game. They're playing in front of their school and their fans, I've been to enough hockey games, let's say, a AAA hockey game where there's 3-4 people in the stands, and you've got some of the best hockey players at high school age in the state playing right there, where you go to a high school game, let's say between Northville and Novi, and it's 2,000 people. It's standing room only. And it's an incredible atmosphere, and the kids just love that, feed off it. And we're seeing in a sport like high school hockey, many, many more are now getting opportunities to play at the next level. They're not sacrificing by playing high school. Coaching is better and all of that. You guys know how great the coaching is at the high school level. The reason I'm bringing this up, one of the shout outs I was going to give, and I wasn't aware that she was not a high school participant at all, but Hannah Ballard, who's from Groseal High School, she's a junior. She is a 2-time USA Swimming Scholastic All-American, recently named to the 2021-22 U.S. National Junior Team for her performance in the 800 free and 200 fly this past summer. She is committed to Michigan, and it's a really nice article, but her personal best in the 200 back just a little while ago was a winter U.S. Open cut. So obviously an outstanding swimmer, not competing at the high school level. How do we change that?
I think as coaches, I think some of us need to put our egos in check. That gets a little tough sometimes. And for me too, I've got 3 club teams in Bloomfield Hills. I mean, it's a small town. Kids have their options. We've got private school options. We got all that stuff. I try to communicate as much as I can where my kids are going, my high school athletes, and where they're swimming off season. I try to make a smooth transition to them. But I think we're all very proud of what we do. I think our club coach is putting in, they see them for 9 or 10 months. So they're seeing them much longer than we are. So much better training, I don't want to say much better training, but a more consistent training pattern. You see the kids on a regular basis. So there's much more of an investment there, financially, time-wise, all that stuff. So I respect 100%. Yeah, I swam club, but I also swam high school. I think coaches, we need to communicate more. We as MISCA, we've brought club coaches in the last few years to have that conversation. And I think you brought up a great point, Lauren, that, the college coaches, they want to see these kids competing in front of their schools. They know, for swimming, club swimming, you might only compete maybe once a month or once every couple months, where high school we're swimming once a week or twice a week. And guess what? When you get to college, Michigan was down at SMU on a Friday night, and they were back at Canham Natatorium the next day swimming against Oakland or somebody.
Right.
And you need that. You're living together. You're in close quarters. You're training together. Just that school spirit and that fight, I think, is such a valuable thing that high school gives us. So I think there's a few things there. We could. I think we joked earlier, we could probably do 2 or 3 podcasts on this, but I guess that's mine in a nutshell. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I think what you touched on with the ego part is huge. And the communication between coaches is really big. I've got a good relationship with the club coach that swims out of our pool, Rich Bennett. He coaches at Northfield High School. Also coaches the Farmington Stingray team. It all comes down to what's in the best interest of the kid. I've had a couple really strong swimmers come from his program, and we've discussed, what is best for that kid, what meets are coming up maybe during the high school swim. I had a student a few years ago swim at Michigan State, Nicholas Shook, who is a national level swimmer, and there was a meet during the high school season, and Rich didn't say he has to go to this meet and wanted to pull him out of the high school season. We sat down and discussed what was best for him, what was going to be doing. We sat and made out a workout plan for him, and it's kind of a season plan of what we're going to do going forward. It takes a little bit of extra work, but I think just building that relationship with the club team and hoping it's reciprocal, where the club team wants to work with the high school and kind of what's best for the kid to get both experiences in. I think the club experiences for the kid is great, because some of those kids, their best events, we don't swim in high school. The longer distance events, the 1650, the 400 IM, the 200 fly, if that's the kid's bread and butter, he's not going to be able to get, or she is not going to be able to get it in the high school experience. So to be able to go to both places and kind of get the best of both worlds, I think it comes down to what's best for the kid. I mean, that's what we're in it for, to help out these student athletes, develop as swimmers and as great people, and to kind of get the best experiences from both worlds. I think it's on both sides, the high school side and the club side, to work together to get what's best out of these kids.
Yeah. And we talk about, the mental health aspect of what I'm so glad that it's more to the forefront now because of the pandemic. This is something I think we're focusing more on. And, my wife would tell a story. She grew up downriver. She had a good friend who was a figure skater. And literally in high school, every day she had to get up and get out of her classroom at noon, every day and go do her thing. And because she was, nationally, trained and national hopeful in terms of figure skating. But I think there was a lot of psychological damage that was done to her. She's, was kind of more of an introverted type of person, and having to get up and do that every day, you feel disconnected from the school. So when you talk about school spirit, you guys talk about the atmosphere that you just experienced, those swimmers, those kids, I think would really benefit from feeling that kind of atmosphere, doing it with their friends that they're seeing every day in high school. And like you said, Mike, I think there is a happy medium that can be found, and maybe they don't participate in everything that the team is doing every week, because there are some club commitments or things that maybe they have to focus on for a little bit, but finding a way to make them a part of the team, being a part of the season, and getting an opportunity to be proud, do something great for your school, so that when you're at school, friends or people are coming and be like, "Oh, that was awesome! I heard you won this or whatever for your school."
Yeah,
that's my
absolutely. It's like last night, the Farmington boys swim team was up in the stands with their chest painted and cheering and yelling, and that's going to go a long way. I know in Bloomfield we've with social media and stuff, there's so much more out there, and they weren't just highlighting races last night. They were highlighting like our seniors who'd put in 4 years, and that's gonna be out on the Twitter accounts. That's gonna be up on the screens in the school on Monday, and just a everyday student just walking down the hall. It's like, oh, that kid's in my class, and then there's some recognition, or that's where you start to get some of those athletes too. Like, oh, my friend swims, maybe I want to try it too. And then you find those diamonds in the rough, and you find kids that it builds their their confidence, and they find a love of a sport, and I think there's so many great things on both sides. And the more we can sit down and just be there for the kids and listen to the kids and stop worrying about what we think we know, because at the end of the day, we don't know everything. We need each other. So
absolutely. And the kids need their friends. And after a year of being separated, they saw, I think you need them more than ever. So there's nothing more. And again, encouraging more multi-sport participation is only a good thing. And it also is what colleges, again, in all sports are looking for is athletes who participate in a variety of sports. It's been proven, and we can go on and on about your injuries are less, and because you're training different parts of the body, you're mentally stronger, all of that stuff. So let's do this as we wrap it up. First off, Coach Mike Harfoot, if you can, what's your week look like for North Farmington here moving forward?
Well, we just finished league meetup, so we have our state team now ready to go. We've got 5 girls in the water. We had one girl who was sick for our league meet, who was really close to a state cut in backstroke. So we're going to look for, hopefully she's going to get healthy in the next couple of days and maybe go to a last chance meet with her to give her one last chance of that state cut. Just really preparing for the state meet, kind of tapering down and resting up and getting some good swims at our state meet at OU in 2 weeks.
Okay. David?
Yeah. We had 3 divers score top 9, so they get to move on to regionals this week. So our swimmers were four swimmers in the water. Those 4 swimmers are making up both of our relays. And then we've got one young lady with 2 individual swims and one with 1. Pretty diverse group. We got 500 freestyler, we got sprinters, we got medley relay, 400 free relay. So we'll be doing a lot of individual training here this next week. We'll get fired up and head over to Lake Orion Thursday night for our divers. And hopefully we can build our state team a little bit more there with those ladies. And, about a week out from now, next Saturday, will be a little team breakfast, have a little bit of fun and get focused. And we're heading out to Holland. I think we've made that, either Holland or Hudsonville 3 years in a row. So the girls like heading out to the west side. We swim fast and just getting ready for a great end of the year.
Yeah, it's a great bonding event too. Like you said, going up to states and getting an opportunity to be together as a team, take a little road trip. It's not too far. So yeah, that works out really good. And I do encourage anyone to go to the diving regionals if you've got one near you. It really is an exciting event. It gives them a chance to showcase, they're just kind of like the, they're kind of thrust into the middle of the state finals, and that's well and good. But a lot of times when you've been absorbing all this others, they just don't get quite the attention that they deserve. But the regional is strictly for them, and it's pretty cool. We've got some pretty amazing divers here in the state. So check that out. Okay, guys, that's our show this week. Remember, you can either watch or listen to the Poolside Podcast. Videos uploaded weekly on our website, social media, and our YouTube channel, or you can listen to the audio podcast by going to the platform of your choice, Apple, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, whatever platform you use, it's there. The show is uploaded on Fridays. Typically, this week, because we recorded on a Saturday, it's going to go up this week on Tuesday, and then we'll get back to our normal Friday upload for next week. All right, I want to thank our sponsors, Lawrence Technological University, the Michigan High School Athletic Association, and DMC Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy Team. Thanks again to North Farmington head coach Mike Harfoot. Good luck the rest of the season. For David, I'm Lorne. We'll see you next week.